Hi there, we're live. Today's reading, I want to read from the Autobiography of Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. I want to read to you a little bit from chapter 9. It's called The Blissful Devotee and His Cosmic Romance. Page 75, chapter 9. It says, "Little sir, please be seated. I am talking to the Divine Mother." Silently, I had entered the room in great awe. The angelic appearance of Master Mashai fairly dazzled me. With silky white beard and large lustrous eyes, he seemed an incarnation of purity. His upraised chin and folded hands apprised me that my first visit had disturbed him in the midst of his devotions. His simple words of greeting produced the most effect in my nature so far experienced. The bitterness of separation of my mother's death I had thought the measure of all anguish. Now consciousness of separation from my divine mother was indescribable torture of the spirit. I felt moaning to the floor. Asked my mother if I have any favorite sight. I'll make you plead to the beloved. The master's capitulation came with a slowly compassionate smile. What power in those few words that my being should now release from its stormy exile. Sir, remember that your pledge. I shall return soon for her message. Joyful anticipation rang in my voice, which only a moment ago had been sobbing, choked with sorrow. Descending the long stairway, I was overwhelmed by memories. This house in Calcutta at 15 Amara Street, now the residence of Master Mahashai, had once been my family home and seen my mother's death. Here is my human heart had broken for the vanished mother, and here today my spirit had been as though crucified by the absence of the divine mother. Hallowed walls, silentness to my previous hurts and my final healing. My steps were eager as I returned to my home. Seeking the seclusion of my small attic, I remained in meditation until 10 o'clock. The darkness of the warm Indian night was suddenly lit with a wondrous vision. Hallowed in splendor, the Divine Mother stood before me, her face tenderly smiling with beauty itself. Always have I loved thee, ever shall I love thee. Little celestial tones still ringing in the air. She disappeared. The sun on the following morning has hardly risen to an angle of decorum when I paid my second visit to Master Manshai. Climbing the staircase in the house of the poignant memories, I reached this fourth floor room. I knelt at his holy feet in a playful mood. I wore a solemn mask on my face, hiding the divine elation. Sir, I had come very early, I confess, for a message. Did the beloved mother say anything about me? Mischievous little sir, not another remark would he make. Apparently, my assumed gravity was so impressive. Must he test me? His calm eyes were full of understanding. The assurance you received last night at 10 o'clock from the beautiful mother herself. Master Mashram possessed control over the floodgates of my soul again. I plunged, prostrated at his feet, but this time my tears swelled from bliss and not a pain past bearing. He spread his wisdom by spiritual conjugation rather than by empirical percept. Consumed by an unsophisticated passion for the Divine Mother, the saint no more demanded outward form of respect than child. I am not a guru, we shall come a little later, he told me, through his guidance. Your experience of the divine in terms of love and devotion will be translated into terms of possible wisdom. Every late afternoon, I betook myself down the street. I sought Master Manja's divine cup, so full that its drops daily overflowed among my being. Never before had I bowed in utter reverence. Now I felt an immeasurable privilege even to tread the same ground that Master Manja's footsteps anchored. Sir, please wear this champa garland I had fashioned especially for you. I arrived one evening holding my chain of flowers. We strolled later through the sacred peninsula, halting in the Tasman Grove. The heavenly food Master Maz was bestowing his divine occasions continued. I rest. Saints of all religions have attained God realization through the simple concept of the cosmic beloved, because the absolute is nirguna, without qualities. Human thought and yearning have ever personalized its divine mother. Achievement Hindu thought, expounded in the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita. The humility of Master Masha and all other saints springs from a recognition of their total dependence on the Lord as the sole life judge. View the nature of God of bliss, and the man in tune with him experiences a native boundless joy, the first of the passions of the soul, and the will is joy. Devotees of all ages approaching the mother in her childlike spirit testify that they find ever at play with them. In Master Masha's life, the manifestations of divine play occurred on occasions important and unimportant. In God's eyes, nothing is large or small, or not for his perfectness extruding the tiny atom, could the skies were the proud structures of Vega Carchus. Distinctions of important and unimportant are surely unknown to the Lord, lest for one opinion cosmos collapse. The next chapter will be chapter 10. It says, I meet my master Sri Yukteswarji. The first line says, faith in God can produce any miracle except one. Passing an examination without study, distastefully a closed inspirational book, and I picked up in that moment. And that concludes today's reading from the Autobiography of Yogi. God bless.